you get measured on pointless metrics, dials, long time, appointments set, appointments attended. All of those are great metrics for sitting in a boardroom and discussing bullshit figures. None of that helps your salespeople get any better. And it takes about 8 months for a company to figure your shit, particularly in recruitment where the reputation is so low. Your job is just not to fuck up the sale. I accept that I called you, but you invited me in. But right now, I'm pissed off enough to emotionally justify what I'm about to do.
Benjamin Dennehy, UK's most hated sales trainer. Thanks for coming on the corner. You have become somewhat of a legend within the world of sales. So
Crazy.
Congratulations. A lot of people I've spoken to actually have been really inspired by your backstory. So take us back to 2017. You broke in debt. You had a family to support.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring all this up so early on and get you to reminisce. What kind of happened, and was there a specific turning point for you that it felt like, actually, I'm out of this now?
No, it's a gradual thing, like all success.
Right.
Success is like an iceberg, isn't it? You only see the top bit. No one ever sees all the crap. So no, success took a while, longer than I thought. I didn't know how long, but it seemed longer than I was expecting. But what happened was it was around 2015. I had my own business doing telephone prospecting, and I've been doing that for 10 years.
I've heard you're quite good at it.
Yeah, I am quite good at it. I was very good at getting meetings, and I worked primarily in advertising for the advertising industry in London. But I started going on the meetings that I'd get with them because I wanted to see what they were doing. And I realized no one knew how to sell. But I said, I don't really know how to sell, I guess. I would do what you do. But this seems wrong as well, this whole way of interacting and behaving with people. So I carried on. Then one day one of my clients, the CEO actually of an advertising agency, said to me, "Why are you so good at what you do?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "We've used a lot of people in the past. We've outsourced lead generation, and they've never been as consistently as good as you at getting us in front of decision makers."
Were you outsourced for this company? They were using you to outsource your prospects?
They paid me a monthly fee, and we agreed maybe 4 meetings a month. They drew up the list, and that was my job. Just get us in front of these people. It was all director level because I make decisions. And I said, I don't know. I said, I know a few things seem to work. I don't know why. And I said, so I put on a fake stutter. I said, people can't hang up on a guy with a stutter. Yeah, I always act confused. I said again, for some reason, people seem more inclined to want to help you if you don't know what you're doing. This idea that you have to be professional, I don't know why that's taught. It makes no sense. And he was the one that sort of kicks that. He said, he goes, if you can figure out why what you do works and you teach other people, he goes, that's where you're going to make your money.
Really? Did he not just try and employ you? Like, we need to get this guy.
No, I wouldn't. I for a very long time have realised I'm not an employable person.
Right.
I hate authority. I hate asking permission. I hate all of that. So I've been my own boss since 2004. So 20 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, a long time. So I'm institutionally unemployable. You can offer me 2 million quid a year. And
just say,
do I have to come into an office? Well, you will. Yeah, well, I have to do this and that. Yeah, and no.
But the thing is that someone, if I was employing you, I would just employ you as you are. Benjamin, you do your thing.
Yeah.
Do what you want. As long as you're getting us the results, it doesn't matter.
I learned a long time ago, which is a good thing to which I teach all younger people. Because when you get good at prospecting, you get offered jobs. And that makes you feel good. And when you feel good about yourself, you start to forget that you actually aren't as good as you probably think. And I was taught a valuable rule by a guy that made perfect sense. He goes, if anyone offers you a job, it's a reminder that you're not good enough. I said, that doesn't make any sense. No, someone says, I think you're really good at what you do. Can I offer you a job? He goes, no, the reason is that if you're really good at what you do, you want people saying, I'd love to employ you, but I'm pretty sure I can't afford you.
Right.
See, if they offer you a job, they think they can afford you. You need people saying, I'd love to offer you a job, but I know you're going to be too expensive. He goes, then you've made it. And I've always held that true because your ego gets stroked when you're a prospect.
Yeah, right.
So, that's a great call. You're brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's good momentarily, but then you can slip, stop focusing. Yeah. So always got to be
complacent.
Always got to remind yourself you are good, but you're not that good, and someone's always going to come along and be better. and we have peaks and troughs, seasons to reap and sow and all of that. So always just got to focus on the technique and just plod along.
So what happened? Obviously things were going...
Things were going all right. And then I met a sales trainer who taught me a lot of interesting things. And I decided, this is what I want to do. But first I need to master selling, and then I'm going to have to go and teach people. So the easiest way to try to learn to sell is try and sell selling.
Well, that's what one of our guys said over the road. Now, a lot of our business is software developers, testers, project managers. So don't hate them, but a lot of them don't know who you are because they don't live in that sales marketing world. They're not on LinkedIn. No. They're on GitHub. A lot of
it's all in it.
So one of our PMs, Adam, I said, we've got this guest coming in. He's brilliant. Like we followed him for years, but we're not worthy. And he said, this guy's selling. He's like, he's fucking brilliant. He's selling sales. Like, I didn't know that was a thing.
No, like, and it's weird because it annoys some people. Some people, if you've not sold anything, they say, well, you are selling something. I say, you try selling sales services.
Yeah.
That is actually really hard. It's utterly intangible. How do you prove anything? So the only experience that the prospect can have is the one they have with you in the sale. And by the end of it, you've got to get them saying, I don't know what you've done to me, but I want to buy from you. I can do that with any product or service. It's just mastering that art. And all is the art of communication. You don't need to know anything about a product to sell it. You just need to know what it fixes. Now, product knowledge is good because it helps you ask better questions. Don't get me wrong. But you don't really need any to sell anything. It's just, well, what does it fix and why would anyone care? And then frame your conversation around that. And it sounds incredibly easy. And that's why people don't believe it. I mean, some people say, I think what you talk is bollocks. So have you ever tried any of it? No, because and that's what pisses me off. People that say something won't work without having ever tried it.
Yeah, fair enough. If you've tried 2 or 3 different techniques, like that didn't work.
Yeah.
We tried it, it didn't work. It might not work for everyone.
And what I figured out very quickly was by observing and watching people trying to sell is that everyone was going and trying to convince people. They're trying to convince you why you should buy our software. And they do it by intellectually trying to prove to you why it works. But what I discovered is, and you know this and I know this, is people don't buy intellectually. They buy emotionally. And I realized it doesn't matter how good your software is. I could be sitting there saying, I think it's fucking brilliant. I think it's great. And I can see why it'll do everything that you say it'll do. I still don't care. I'm not going to buy. But you've just said, intellectually, I get it. I don't care. Right now, I don't want to do this. I have no reason to do this. I understand it maybe in a couple of years. So, but could you benefit from it now? Probably. But as I say, I don't care. Because I've got other things more important that I'm emotionally attached to. So unless you can get someone emotionally hooked, they're never going to buy. Doesn't matter how brilliant the intellect.
So when someone says, go, give us a call in 6 months, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to care in 6 months.
Give me a call.
It might be
it's usually a polite way of saying fuck off.
Yeah.
That's what it normally means. Right? But sometimes people are true. Try me in 6 months. Because literally right now, it's like I use the example of a mobile phone. If you were to phone me up today and try to get me to change my mobile phone, you got no chance.
Yeah.
Because it works.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. I've got all the minutes and texts I need and all the apps work. If, however, as someone did a few years ago, I was prospecting and my phone died on me 3 times, signal cut out. So I was kind of annoyed. So then someone phoned up that afternoon, randomly out of the blue, started talking about phone contract. Normally you say, fuck off.
Yeah.
However, today's different because emotionally, I was kind of pissed off.
Yeah.
So when he started ramming on, I said, all right, I'll tell you what I'm in. I'll buy from you. And the guy was so thrilled.
He said, Jesus, you usually tell me where to go.
But a guy's going to buy it. And then I asked him, before we move to the next level, I go, do you know what I'm buying from you? He goes, yeah, well, because we're going to give you an extra 100 minutes and we're going to go. I said, no, it's got fuck all to do with it. I said, in fact, no. In fact, I said, as far as I know, you're going to be worse than my existing supplier. I said, so why am I buying from you? He goes, I don't know. I said, spite.
Because I hate that one so much.
As of today, those pricks and whoever it was will not take my money. And that's it. I'm buying purely because I have no idea if we're going to be any better. But right now, I'm pissed off enough to emotionally justify what I'm about to do. So that's the key to selling. And then when you understand that, it then flips. So my job when I get in front of someone isn't to figure out how to sell to you. It's not to try and convince you. It's not to try and impress you. It's not to try and get you to like me. You need to have some bonding with you. You don't have to like me. You could say, I think Benjamin's a prick, but he's still onto something.
And is that what sort of led you to your title, the UK's most hated sales trainer? Because it's almost like Well, I don't care whether you like me or not.
You don't have to like me to believe I can help you. Do you have to like your lawyer to trust they'll do a good job? It's like, no. You have to trust your doctor. Like your doctor to trust them. No, you don't have to like anyone. But if you genuinely believe they can do what they do, then that's all I'm paying you for. I'm not paying for a friend. Yeah, it's the same with what we sell. Customer service is important, don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about when you're first selling to someone you've never sold to them before. They don't need to like you. No, you don't go out of your way to be a knob. Obviously. There's a difference between being liked and trying to be liked.
Yeah, sure.
Try to be liked.
Yeah.
Whereas, look, the only reason I'm here is I'm not here to convince you to use me. I know what I do work. Built a business around it. Made a lot of money out of it, and I've had lots of people say my stuff. So I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to figure out if I should sell to you. Because I'm the guy with the goodies. You're the only thing you got is money. I don't need your money. So you have nothing. So my job now is to figure out, do I want to sell to you? Are you someone I want to work with? And you're the same selling software. We can't sell to everyone. We only sell to people we choose to. And the only people we sell to are the people that follow the software the way it's supposed to be followed. They do everything we say. If you're not willing to do that, fuck off. Go buy someone else's.
And jumping ahead of it, I'm loving it. That's why, I've always see as prospecting is a numbers game. Because it's like, doesn't matter how many you speak to, you're looking for that one that is emotionally upset with their current provider, those are the ones you latch onto and like, right, I can sell here, or I can convince this person to look at our software with emotion or whatever. And it's the same in anything. It doesn't matter what you're selling.
Prospecting is the only element of selling where it is purely numbers. If everybody answered their phone and everybody was a decision maker and everybody was honest with you, prospecting would be the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, and everyone
right? The skill is selling, because getting in front of people, that's a lot of work. So you've got to do telephone, email, direct mail. Now you got to do whatever you can to get in front of people. And you're right. Of every 100 people I phone, maybe only 5 need what I have now or feel it enough. But I've got to phone 95 people maybe to get to those 5. Yeah. So that's a numbers game. But the skill, once you get in front of people, that's what separates skill from luck. Yeah. And I meet so many people that say, we're great in front of people. We just need to be in front of more people.
Just need to get in front of them.
And then when you look at the numbers, it's like, but you're getting in front of 6 people a month and only closing 1.
So you're not great in front of them.
So you're not great. What's happening to the other 5? You don't need, if all 6 every month close, would you need more prospect? No. So they always focus on volume. We need more. No, you need volume for prospecting. You're right, because your prospect is probably crap and finding them is hard. But then you apply the same logic to meetings. And you go, well, we lose deals because we don't have enough of them. No, you're probably shit when you're in front of people.
So they're looking at it like, we're closing 1 in 6. If we had 12, we'll close 2.
2.
Well, no, you need to focus on closing those.
You need to focus on closing maybe 3 out of 6.
Yeah.
Why aren't they closing? Oh, and then they give you this, we don't know. How can you not know? You spend an hour with them. So what are you doing in those meetings? Oh, we just show up, throw up, and hope. That's what most people do.
Yeah.
Or we do a proposal and then we wonder why we never hear back.
You do your standard slideshow presentation. I'm going to show you this, show you that.
And so they go through this whole look at us, like us, buy into us. What do you want to do? And it's always ends.
I've come across salespeople within our industry, and obviously people trying to prospect to us as well, their services, that the second you take them off their either script, not necessarily prospecting, but let's say you've got someone now in front of you, okay, but the second you take them off their standard patter, they just absolutely collapse.
Yeah.
Because they don't know, oh shit, this is not part of my standard.
No, and prospects aren't idiots. You could spot a salesman a mile off. They are so obvious. Yeah. And then they all act and sound the same way. And whatever you chuck at them, they've always got an answer for. Now, that's worrying when someone's always got a quick answer for you. Because it means this is something they hear all the time and they've got a standard line. So one of the things I teach people is, even if you know the answer, one of the things you've got to master is the art of not feeling in a rush to answer a question.
You're clearly very good at what you do. I think a lot of people sort of buy into what you say. Although a lot of people obviously follow your content and use what they're being, either the training or just some of the little snippets that you give, like the intro call and that kind of stuff. What I don't want to keep harping back to this, but a lot of people will see all this good, but then not realise that actually you've been right down, but you've got out and you bounce back. And something a lot of we've had a few people on the call and we've talked about various things, and obviously mental health and all this kind of stuff. Where did you kind of get to?
Rock bottom.
And you would say
absolute rock bottom. Yeah. So as I had my business and I wanted to do the sales training, so I was doing the two at the same. Prospecting for me to go out and sell in this, and then prospecting for my clients to make money.
And were you trying to full throttle on both things?
This is where the story goes. I turned to my wife one day and said, "You know the reason why this isn't working?" I said, "Because I've got a guaranteed income from what I'm doing." I said, "The only way I'm going to be 100% motivated to make this work is if we eliminate the safety net." And my wife said, "What does that mean?" I said, "It means
get ready.
We live on our limited savings," which wasn't fuck all, probably a few £1,000, and then credit cards." I said, "So now we have to sit down and decide. Worst case scenario. Let's say this doesn't work. What's the worst case scenario? Now, we live in the West in a socialist society.
Yeah.
And I'm married with a kid. What's the worst that's going to happen? Bankruptcy. And all that is a start. The government ain't going to throw you out in the street, so they're always going to give you a home. So you got family, you got friends, so we're not going to be homeless. So the worst thing is bankruptcy, isn't it?" I said, "All that does is set you back to zero." And I said, "We got fuck all anyway." So we really
nothing to lose.
There really is nothing. And if you can handle bankruptcy and the humiliation of that, then
a lot of people don't do it though because of the stress.
Yes,
and particularly when you've got a family. If you had a child,
was your baby?
Yeah,
year old.
So a lot of people think I could not comprehend. I mean, I'm a bit of a creature of habit in terms of I have to have X amount and I have to do certain things, but to me it's to provide. Now again, I've questioned, should I go out and do something else? And there's the entrepreneur in me wants to go off and do this stuff, but actually this stable kind of guy inside's like, don't do that, it's too risky. And people avoid it because of the stress. And
well, I'll tell you something funny. If you're watching this and you're thinking about doing something, you don't really have anything, do it. You see, once you start acquiring capital, once you start actually having things, you become risk averse because you don't want to lose what you have. When you've got nothing, you have nothing to lose. You take greater risk. And I noticed that. So we like I said, we decided to do that. We lived on credit cards. I got 45K in debt, banging my head trying to make this work. And then luck is preparation meeting opportunity. So I've been working really hard. I was making money, but nowhere near as much as it wasn't enough to basically fund. It was just enough to survive. But then thing happens. I made a video of me making that phone call, which I didn't realize would be so big.
Yeah.
Because for years I've been talking about how to make phone calls, and a lot of people have said the guy's an idiot, doesn't know what he's talking about. I said, "No, these calls work." So that podcast where they made me call live.
Yeah. So
that sat on there, whatever it was, for months. He phoned me up the following year, said, "Have you seen that?" He goes, "Mate, that's brilliant." So I watched it and I said, "David, I don't believe that's real." Yeah, I made the call. Even I think that's fake. He goes, "I know, it's great." So I put that on LinkedIn, and then from that, suddenly people realised this guy's not an idiot. He knows exactly what he's talking about. And from that, I started getting a lot more traction. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
Best thing to ever happen to me.
Really? Because a lot of businesses obviously struggled in COVID.
Yeah.
Was a lot of your stuff face-to-face?
It was all face-to-face. So I lost all my business overnight.
Yeah, which is a tough pill.
Which was tough because I just finally started to make it working. And it was like, fuck, what do I do? And I'd never done anything online in my life. And I said, well, I said, how do you even do it on? I'd never used Zoom. I'd never made a PowerPoint. So I said, and this is the worst thing. I'm a sales trainer on LinkedIn. What if I advertise or try and market a boot camp and no one buys? I said, that's going to be even worse. And I remember debating, well, do I do this? Do I try and sell an online course? And then this other voice said, fuck him. Who gives a toss what people on LinkedIn anyway? A bunch of losers.
Yeah.
I was on it. So I did. I advertised my first 3-hour boot camp, telephone prospecting. I advertised 8 spaces. And I was like, I think it was like 150 quid. But all 8 sold within 24 hours. I was quite taken aback. So I did the boot camp again over Zoom. Never done this before, so it was all brand new. But everyone said they loved it. They said the 3 hours flew by. So then I advertised another one and another one. Long story short, over COVID, I did 60 of these things.
Bloody hell.
I generated just over £1 million.
Wow.
In fees.
Yeah. And were they all salespeople looking for?
Mainly salespeople, yeah.
Yeah.
And so to develop the strategy, I remember sitting at home thinking, there's all these people stuck at home now with nothing to do. I thought to myself, I bet they've got 500 quid I can take. I've just got to figure out how to take this 500 quid.
Yeah. So because it's not a lot.
It's not a lot of money. It's got to be enough to make someone grumble.
Yeah.
But not too much to be excessive. It's got to, because I don't want it too cheap and get anyone in the dilutes.
Did anyone ask for a refund?
No.
Okay.
I can count on one hand the number of people that have complained about my training.
And did they complain directly to you, or just ranted on
They
LinkedIn?
come to me, and their complaints are so, I can't figure out what they are. Like one complaint said he thought I swore too much and was unprofessional.
Right.
So, okay, fine.
Had he not seen your stuff?
I said, what have you?
You mean not?
What? Yeah, and so you get weird things like that. Okay, I couldn't have thought my image was more public.
Yeah.
And everyone said you're just the same on camera as you are what I'd expect. So that's it. So I've always just said, fine, take your money back. It's not a lot of it. I don't care. I'd rather you take your money and shut up than go online.
I wouldn't have given it back to about.
But I can count on one hand the number of people that haven't liked what I've done, which is fine. Can't please everybody.
No, sure.
But yeah, no.
It kind of leads us on to the next point. Obviously, you've built quite a phenomenal personal brand. I think one that's built around honesty, hard truths. Sometimes, with stuff.
Yeah, people hate that.
One of the other things that comes with that is quite a unique personal image, which actually you threw me today, turning up without your red hat. How important has that image been in terms of building that personal brand? And I know that's something that you're not necessarily moving away from, but you're trying new stuff. Obviously, not necessarily new clothes. Like, well done, Benjamin. You've got other clothes.
I don't drive out dress like.
I know you've come to us today on your way somewhere. But will you wear that tomorrow when you're with your client?
Red hat.
It's become a bit of a uniform.
If I turn up to somewhere, people say, "Oh, where's the hat?"
Yeah.
So yeah, it has worked. Again, I had to stand out in a very crowded market.
Yeah.
How many sales trainers are there?
And
they all sound kind of the same. That's why I don't like. So I've tried to sound exactly different and opposite. Obviously, my ideas have got more popular. One thing I moan about LinkedIn now is every day I go on and there's just some other SDR putting up a recording, I'll be up front, this is a cold call, do you want to hang out?
Yeah.
Feels like everybody's doing it now.
Which is
Flattering.
It's flattering, but then, again, when everyone's doing it, it hasn't got the same effect.
And a lot of people don't know why they're doing it or why it works, so they deliver it poorly as well. But anyway, long by the by. So the brand was created because I needed to stand out. And if I was to say to you, I am the greatest, who would you think of?
Muhammad Ali. So you can't say that.
No, exactly. But this is it. He wasn't the greatest. All he did was kept saying,
yeah. But he was so confident in the interviews.
And so what he did was he found a space and he owned it. And a guy called Brad Burton said to me, you need to find a space and own it. Because he did that to me. He goes, I'm the great. He goes, who do you think of? So Muhammad Ali. He goes, exactly, everyone does. But he wasn't. He just said it. Because find a space that you can own. So when I went on LinkedIn and was looking at what other sales trainers call themselves, I realized they all did the same thing. They all loved to talk about how great they were. Number one, top seller, top performer.
Can increase your revenue, increase your leads, all that kind of stuff.
Growth, thought leader, sales leader, and everyone still look at me, like me. And I thought, no one wants to be hated. I said, that's it. I hate that. This plot of land I can take.
And it's different to being the shittest sales trader.
It's crap. It's just the UK's most hated. And then there's a story. Why are you hated? They don't get it. I wrote it up. People find that fascinating.
Yeah,
there's no one.
Why is this guy hate? It builds that curiosity. Yeah. And why is he hate?
Why?
Oh, I'm going to watch his stuff. And then they realise, actually, this guy's great.
There's no international body that measures hatred towards sales trainers. And So I said I made it up to stand out. And I go, and it works. And I go, but people do hate because I'm upfront and blunt. And I tell salespeople they're losers because they choose to be. And be honest, you don't even want to be here anyway. Most salespeople don't even want to be in sales. This is just what they've got. They've got no other job prospects. What do you do if you're a salesman for 3 years? What do you move into? Unless you go and retail.
Account management when you're a bit older.
And I get out and selling.
I know these customers, I can look after them.
And so they hate it. So most people who are in sales don't even want to be there. And so if you don't really want to be somewhere, are you ever going to really try to get really good at it? No. So most are average, and they go through life earning their basic with a bit of commission.
And they'll have good months, bad months.
And up and down. And then they move sideways, very rarely up. And it takes about 8 months for a company to figure your shit. Right? Yeah, because I'll give them a go. Yeah, but so you just look at sales CV. It's a year here, a year there.
There is always an excuse when it comes to sales.
But look at this new opportunity. Yeah. That's code for I was going to get fired, but I thought I'd jump ship. There's no reason to look for a new job if you're a good salesman.
No.
Because a good employer won't let you go, and toxic management maybe. But
you would think. I mean, and maybe there is people obviously change of circumstance, and I'm not defending, grab salespeople, but I know people that have moved for other reasons other than actually they're doing really well there. It's just a change in circumstance. We talked a little bit about this before we started recording, but obviously we hear a lot in our industry about cadences and multi-channel outreach, and a lot of people now are. There's all these various touch points, which must be, it feels, I mean, I've been doing this, a fair while, but it feels new to me, a lot of this. People that are saying there's 13 touch points prior to someone buying. And obviously most of your content, and I assume your training is around prospecting and picking up the bloody phone, getting on the phone. What do you think about sort of multi-channel outreach and how important is that?
Multichannel is important because, as we've discussed, getting a hold of these people and finding them is hard.
It's difficult.
It is difficult. So just to limit yourself only to telephone prospecting would be foolhardy. It is a channel. So I still use email because I'm doing some work with a company now that I have an interest in, and so I'll be starting next month. I'm going to have to try and call on CFOs and CEOs of the world's biggest companies. Fortune 500 and FTSE, because they only want to work with companies with this billion, because of what they do. Their products $500,000, right? So they're after, so I have to figure out how do I get in touch with these people. Now I can try and phone them, but the odds of you getting through to the chairman at BP on a cold call.
Yeah, and how much
can be done?
It can be done, but how much hard do you think that's got with people remote working as well? Because back in the day, you used to be able to just phone the mainline number. Ask speak to so-and-so. If you can get past gatekeeper, great.
Most people you talk to now use a platform called Lusher. Which seems to be able to get anybody's mobile number. So the idea that it's got you can use new bits of technology that will get you phone numbers, and everyone puts their mobile number in online somewhere at some point, so it's going to be captured. So no, I think you've just got to... It's maybe you've got to spend more money now. It's not like going to the white pages or the yellow pages in the older days, or people
just work your way down.
Their numbers out now. They're much more caught. So no, technology is there to help you. So I think finding the numbers is fine if you just got to invest the time and money. But I would do multiple. There's nothing wrong with direct mail because some people are going to read something. Some people won't read an email. Some people read a phone through. But your job is this is the bad side though. A lot of this is marketing. So we're talking, I think direct mail is marketing. Email is marketing. Telephone prospecting is a salesman's job solely because it requires talking to another human being.
But you still use email. Would you not class that as marketing? Like an example I had, I still do prospecting actually because I enjoy it. I don't need to, but actually I think it's good for the room and the people I work with actually to show I still do this and I understand exactly. And last week I... trying to get hold, knew who the key contact was, found the details, reached out to him, couldn't get through, left him a voicemail, and then followed him up with an email. So I just left you a voicemail, really keen to talk to you just about this. If you've got a couple of minutes, give me a call. And actually he did. And I then had another call with him Friday, and it's a great big company that we've been looking to get in for ages, and it actually great. Yeah. So but I wouldn't have classed that email as marketing. That's just like a follow-up.
Depends who you want to do. So you can have concerted marketing campaign, email marketing, which I think should be left up to marketing, and then for salespeople to follow up on the phone. But if you're a small organisation like you are and like I am, you're going to do all of those tasks yourself because you're an individual. But I work with a lot of corporates and they still have the salespeople doing this. they shouldn't be sitting there sending out emails. You should have them on the phone chasing up emails or chasing up the direct mail that you've sent as part of a market. Because this is all marketing, but prospecting is just another form of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just trying to get in front of someone. And I don't care how you get in front of someone, ultimately. Because what you want to do is when you're in front of them, that's where it matters. That's where selling as a skill kicks in. But prospecting for me is important for a salesperson because it forces you to think in real time with real people and real decision makers.
Yeah.
If you're only getting that in front of them at a sales meeting, don't be surprised that your sales suck as well. Yeah, because this is a skill.
Yeah.
Communicating.
Yeah, if you can't
can't
convince them to have that meeting with you, you're going to fail even if you got them.
And if you can't handle pressure in real time, if you can't handle the pressure that they put you under, because when you get in front of a CEO, to a lot of people, they can be quite scary. And they're, well, I've got to impress them, got to get them to like me. Let's try and say what they want to hear. So the whole meeting is built around not upsetting the important person.
So what would you say to businesses that try and outsource that prospecting to another business? You just say, why can't you do this yourself? You've got salespeople that could go in and sell your product or service. Yeah. Why are you looking to outsource?
It's a good question. Why are you looking to outsource? It's usually because they've hired people that don't know how to prospect.
Yeah.
They don't want to invest in it. Because you see, you got to invest in people to give them the skills. Problem is, you got people there that don't want the skills because they don't really want to do the job. So I have a rule when I work with a company, unless the people are willing to pay for their own training, and so I said, don't get me in. You're just pissing your money up.
Yeah, it's no point.
Yeah, if you say to salespeople to get some training, they'll say, yeah, sure, it's a free day out of the office.
Yeah, why
would I not say yes to that? I'm not going to do anything, not going to change. I think I'm all right. But I'll take a day out of the office once a month. So you got to get the buy-in. So if you're going to outsource, well, first of all, it's how did they get in contact with you? Because however they got in contact with you is their A game. So you get people email me, and then they write a huge long email explaining lead generation. And I said, if this is your A game,
if
this
we talked about it a lot
for you,
why am I going to use you?
Fuck yeah. So did they phone you? How are they like on the phone? Didn't they give you compelling reason? The way they approach you is exactly how they're going to work for you.
Yeah.
Even actually, the way they approach you is going to be their best possible approach. So I would only use one that has cold called you and demonstrated on the phone that they can take you from not thinking about maybe outsourcing to thinking, maybe we should outsource. Then they may be worth using. And
I haven't found one yet. And Jordan, who you met earlier, he's generally the first to pick up the phone in sales marketing because he's a hungry sales guy.
Yeah.
But as a gatekeeper, he's brilliant because he will put people through their paces. He's like, oh, come on, well, who do you want to speak to? All right, and why? And then
don't you like on it? Don't sales become complete assholes with the shoes on the other foot.
The thing is, though, we will always talk to people if they're good.
Yeah.
You know, if they've actually said, "Can I speak to Paul? I know he heads up your sales and marketing. I appreciate he's busy, but I want to sell the service." And actually, a lot of the time, it's just we had one. We actually made a video that didn't go viral, but it did well. Yeah. Can I speak to someone high up in sales? It's like, what is that? So how much research do you think prospectors should do? You know, if you're a sales guy, particularly in small teams, it's their responsibility to do the prospecting as well as closing sales. How much research should they do about the company that they're looking to prospect into and the person that they're looking to
So I'd say this is on a spectrum.
Okay.
So if you're, a bog standard SaaS or security company, and pretty much most businesses could buy your stuff, then you don't need to do much research at all. Because you've created a product or a service or a solution that fix things. So your job is to phone on companies and find out, do they have these problems? If they don't have them, then there's you don't need, but let's say you're selling a unique product. You only want to work with 13 types of companies, then that's going to require a bit more tailored approach. You can't, we've created something that only 13 companies can work with. So you're going to have to tailor your approach. It all depends on the pool in which you're fishing. The bigger the pool, less research. Because this is what we fix. We got 8,000 companies. No, all I need is the name of the decision maker and telephone number, then phone up and say, well, we fix the following 3 things, A, B, C, D, but you're going to tell me you don't have any of them. And all they're going to say is, well, no, I do. Let's talk. I don't recognize them, or I can recognize some of them, or not right now, but maybe, you're going to get a variance of answers. But no, the biggest excuse salespeople use is, well, I've got to research a company before I phone them, and it's procrastination. It's just avoid it. What is your product fix? Could that company suffer from those problems? Yeah, then phone up and ask. However, like I say, we've got a product. Only 20 companies are going to be able to buy. I've only got 20 to sell to. then maybe you're going to have to be a little bit smarter in how you approach that.
And this is what then comes down to obviously building that personal brand as well. How much time should salespeople put into building their personal brand and creating content on LinkedIn? LinkedIn obviously is a massive platform for salespeople, particularly in our industry, which is recruiters, which is probably most of our viewers here. How much time should they put in building their personal brand, and can that help them with their prospects?
So this is a tough one, because I'm two sides to this coin. On the one hand, I've created a brand and I've pushed it and promoted it. But I'm a one-man band operation. There's nothing behind me. I'm not IBM. Whereas IBM, do you need to have a personal brand if you're selling IBM? No, because the whole brand is IBM. And so, in fact, if you're selling IBM, your job is just not to fuck up the selling. Right? Yeah. So when you're working with these big companies that spend a lot of time and money on their branding and everything, no, you don't need a personal brand. It may help in a few instances. You're going to get, this is what salespeople do. Something happens once and then they hold on to it for dear life. Well, I got in front of a guy once because he said he'd been following my posts and as a result of that, so therefore I must...
Got to do more.
How many others have ever said that to you?
Yeah.
None. So don't build your entire life philosophy around something happening once.
I think with recruiters and some of the, not necessarily the business we work with, but in individuals, and those individuals that we see on LinkedIn a lot nowadays, they work for big companies, but actually what they're trying to do is build their personal brand because a lot of their stuff, particularly around interactions with applicants and clients, is quite personable.
Well, I would have,
and they're bought into the recruiter rather than the brand. And if that recruiter leaves and goes to work somewhere else, 9 times out of 10, that client's going to come with them, as is the candidate, because of that.
I agree, particularly in recruitment where the reputation is so low. If you can create a personal brand that makes you stand out, then the more the better.
Great, yeah.
And all personal brands are primarily created on how you behave and act. So I've got a logo or whatever the hell you call it. I mean, that means that people don't see the logo and think, ooh, got to buy because of that, all right?
But they will recognise it. People recognise you for your red hat and your logo.
Business has to market and brand. So
yeah.
It's a part of it. But do I, working for Gong or HubSpot, do I need a personal brand to sell HubSpot? No. I don't think it can hurt you being online. But the thing with LinkedIn now, every SDR in the world is on LinkedIn and feels. They're all experts now too.
I think it's like 40 million in the UK, users, but then only 1% of that actually posts content on LinkedIn, and probably half of that shit content.
And anyway, half,
So there's probably 0.5% of that many million people that are actually
doing. That's a lot. So it's so consumed, and everyone is saying the same thing or a variation as well. If you want to create at least you've got to stand out. You've got to be controversial, you've got to be divisive. You've got to put your line in and say, that's what I did. I was quite counterintuitive. But now I'm slightly annoyed because my counterintuitive seems to be more and more, and now I feel like part of the establishment. So I've got to figure out a way to get out of it.
Change again
because it's becoming,
So sales is sales, whether it's a product or a service or whatever. Ultimately, you're trying to get people to part with their cash to give to you as an individual, as a business, for whatever. With your training techniques, do you adjust those techniques at all, depending on what client you're working with and what product or service they're offering?
Yes, everything's got to be flexible.
Yeah.
So your job isn't to create little robot drones who don't know what to do.
Like you have accidentally done with prospecting from your video about 8 seconds. There's lots of Gen Zs now.
And they act like it's brand new. I know, I love it. So,
well, that's good because you can do something different now and stand out.
Exactly. There's so many permutations. But what was the question again?
So just in terms of how flexible you are with your training.
Yes. So the fundamental principles don't change. It's just like hiring a lawyer. There's all different types of lawyers. They work in all different areas of law, but the fundamentals will always be the same. It's just in the application of specific niche things. So, you will behave differently as a recruiter than you will from someone selling in school nursery food because the exchange is going to be different. The value that you're talking about is different. So, So what I teach is tweaked to each particular client because they've got to make it their own. They're going to have their own way of delivering stuff. Not everyone's going to say, I talk about closing up front and teaching them something called the Omega, but everyone changes that to suit them and their personality.
So a lot of it, I suppose a lot of you spending time with the client is almost then getting them to discover why they're unique and how they can mold it to themselves.
Not a lot to what I teach because there's not a lot to selling. It's getting really good at some very fundamental things. Most people don't teach you this. So you get measured on pointless metrics, dials, talk time, appointments set, appointments attended. All of those are great metrics for sitting in a boardroom and discussing bullshit figures. None of that helps your salespeople get any better. None of that helps you tell, well, why aren't we selling? According to the numbers, we should be selling more. Well, why are we selling more? Well, because we're measuring stuff that doesn't tell us why we're not selling. Why are you not selling? Probably because you're talking to people that you should have been talking to in the first place. So how do we measure, have we qualified properly? We don't measure that. So you need to start measuring this. So when your salespeople come back, they should be able to answer a series of questions. And if they can't answer them, it's like, well, what the fuck were you doing for an You don't know the answer to that. Yeah. If you don't know who the decision maker is, how they're going to make it, when they're going to make it, what are you doing? What's their budget? Well, they wouldn't tell us. Well, we don't say they wouldn't tell. What does that mean? Well, did you challenge that? Yes. Well, how did you challenge it? I said, and then you went, well, I didn't realize. So why didn't you? So what the, right? So
basically, they've just gone and told someone how amazing we are and why you should buy our product or service.
And so what did you do for the last hour?
Yeah.
Well, I explained how we work and what we do. Yeah, I don't care about us. I know about us. So they left that meeting knowing about us, but we know nothing about them. Then that's what you should be measuring. And so did you get this information? If you didn't, why not? And if why not, then you've got to go back. You've got to put your tail between your legs. You've got to phone them and say, I'm so sorry.
I fucked up. I spoke at you. I didn't listen.
Yeah, I need to understand. But you may have lost them by now because they got what they wanted from you. We just wanted you to come in and tell us how you'd fix this problem. Because we already know how we're going to do it. We just needed you to confirm that what we were going to do is right.
And actually, we'd got 4 people in to do exactly the same, and then we worked out what.
So doing your job up front, so we got to measure stuff that matters. And it's like, well, did you ask these questions? Did you ask this question, this question? And when they said this, how did you respond? I need to know that you're in there doing your job. I don't care. I'd rather you have one of these meetings a week than 5 shitty ones. So we got to start measuring what matters. And it's because it's more intangible than the simple dials and talk time. People don't do it because it's harder. But I know how to do it. You just get them back. Who's the decision maker? When they're going to decision maker? Why are they buying from us? What's the reason? Well, they think our product's great. No, that's not a reason. Why are they buying? Well, because they need to be more efficient. No, that's not why they buy. Why are they buy? I don't know. So the odds are they're not going to buy. They've told you something. You're happy, but see. So if you don't know this, what have you been doing for an hour?
Yeah.
So this is what frustrates me, that companies don't get this.
And do you find that with the people you're training, obviously I assume it's a very diverse set of sales people. In terms of is there a, trying to find out how to word this without offending, is there a generation that's better in terms of your Gen X, your millennials, your Gen Zs? Is there a generation that's better, and is there a generation that's more susceptible to change, particularly those that have been doing it for a long time? Are they open to and willing to change what they are?
Answer would be no. I'm going to be honest. I would have thought I'd like to pick on the younger folk.
A lot of people do. They get bad rap, these Gen Zs sometimes.
Because I think human beings, even though we seem to be getting stupider as a species, but are still curious and want to learn new things. And what I teach, because it's so logically consistent, this is the other thing. When people see snippets of it and bits of it, it's very easy to form a very prejudiced or biased feeling towards, I don't know that, I never know. Yeah, but you're taking it not within a whole bigger context. And everything I teach is done within the context of I'm actually having a conversation with a real human being in real time. And when I show you snippets of it, then of course it makes no sense. You've got to have it all together. So a lot of people, when they see what I teach, logically they get it. It's like, it makes perfect sense.
But do you find some businesses might put salespeople in front of you that are just not, they just haven't got it, and they want you. They're like, "Can you make this person salesperson?" Do you say no?
Well, as I always say, if you meet someone who you go to a party, right, and you start talking to someone, they're a lawyer,
and I go to any parties nowadays. I've got kids.
I'm at that age too. I can't stand it. So you're at a party, right? Though you ask them, "So what do you do?" They say, "I'm a lawyer." If you then ask that person, "Why did you become a lawyer?" They're able to tell you, ever since I was a kid,
Yeah.
they got this whole backstory. Then they had to go to university for 4 years. Then they had to do their bar training. They had to take out a student loan. And then they got their first contract. These guys have been committed to being a lawyer for a long time. Same with a doctor. If you ask anyone in sales, so how did you become a salesman? I kind of fell
into it. And recruitment's prime for that. You know, so many people.
My first sales job was in recruitment.
Right, okay.
I was shit at it.
Is that an exclusive? I don't know.
No, it's not.
I didn't say that before.
The one thing I was good at was getting the meetings, though.
Yeah.
I always was good at getting meetings. And so they took me off recruiter and put me solely on business development. It's a true story. Yeah.
But I got crap at placing people, but really good at
it. But, and this is the thing. As we've just demonstrated, most people in our profession don't want to be there. And the only reason there is by default, they put no energy or effort in to get there. And then you say, we're going to send you on a training course. I don't care. Yeah, and it's not hard to make money as a salesman. And I point this out. Most sales are orders anyway.
Yeah.
Because most salespeople are crap. So most of the time they're in front of people that already probably decided to buy. They've just gone in and successfully ticked all the boxes and haven't fucked it up. So they take orders. And it's not hard to take orders. You talk to any MD, and if you're watching this, I bet you've experienced this. You got salespeople you know you want to get rid of because they're not very good. There's just one caveat. They bring in just enough to be relevant, don't they? They're very good at doing just enough to be relevant. Right? And they do that because they know they got you over a barrel.
Yeah.
I talked to an MD once, and I said, will you guys pay? He goes, I'll ask them. He phoned me back up, so dejected. He said, they said no. I said, what do you mean? He said, they said no. They wouldn't pay towards their own training.
And this is a big thing for you, right? You demand that the salespeople are actually paying for their own sales.
Yeah, well, every lawyer's paid for his education. Every doctor has.
Yeah.
They haven't to borrow it or their parents pay. But it's come from them. Salespeople are the only ones who believe a sense of entitlement. You hired me, now teach me everything, and I'm not going to get better unless you make me better. It's ridiculous.
You got to want to be better. And need to understand your flaws.
And most MDs know this, and that's why they're scared even to do sales training, because you're going to spend a load of money on these people, and deep down you know nothing's going to change. And then what that reinforces in you is you made some poor choices earlier by hiring people that are never going to get your business to where you really want to be at. But I can't get rid of them because they do just enough to keep us where we're at, and we're doing okay. And so you're stuck in this.
Well, especially if it's just that order taking and it's just the process. I need them there to do the process.
Well, COVID was brilliant. The number of MDs that phoned me up and said, I'll tell you what, though, this has been great. We've been up to half the sales team with the same level of revenue. Yeah, because most of them they were order takers in the first place. And you only notice order takers when times get tough. When everything's going well, you don't notice it. And why are the best salespeople? Well, I made more money during COVID than during the better times because I was still out selling. I didn't change. I modified my approach, but I was still selling the way I was before. And it was just a better market environment. But a lot of companies are stuck. They want to get better. They know they need to get better, but their sales team, frankly, aren't going to put in the effort. And again, they're not bought in. You got ship management. No one knows the purpose of the business or why we're here. You know,
so that was going to lead on. How important is environment and culture? And obviously, what you're saying there is actually, if it's that from the top down, then you're not going to have hungry people that want to go out and get in and change.
Well, it's funny because this is why I've invested in this new business that I'm going to start promoting through cold calling and prospecting. Is everyone is obsessed with mental health and wellness and all of this. But most companies, there's a report coming out, I can't say because I've only just found this out, there's a big report coming out that says that over the last 10 years they've measured all of these employee engagement schemes, all of them have failed. None of them have achieved anything because you're trying to fix a problem from the wrong end. You're trying to come in from, again, an intellectual perspective. Most people don't reach out for help. So the problem is most people go to work for the sake of going to work. 80% of people are like quiet quitting, which is they're there, but they're not there. Why? Well, think about it. And this is what I say. I say you work for an alcohol brand. When you go home at night and you look yourself in the mirror and say, what do I actually achieve? All we do is get people drunk, I guess, and make them feel like shit the next day.
Yeah.
So people say, so when you have no attachment to the greater purpose of things, it's easy to not care. So if you're in a job where you don't feel there's a future and investment, you don't feel you're participating in something purposeful, you become complacent, dejected. You're purely going in for the money. You do what you need to do. And I think COVID showed that because most companies want you to come back to work now because working from home isn't productive.
Yeah.
People are tuning off. You know now, just go on a Zoom meeting, there'll be people there with no camera. It's on mute. They're not part of it.
Or it will start and then they'll turn it off.
Apparently,
Can't
one
wait
in
for it.
two of us now own dogs.
Yeah. And a lot of them were COVID.
Dogs. So how much time does it take to look after?
Yeah.
So you're spending 90 minutes a day that would have been working now walking. And everyone goes, well, this is good for your mental health. Well, actually, not being productive and being purposeless is also equally as bad for your mental health. Not engaging and being in community is bad for you. We are a social creature. How do you get better at your job if you're not hanging around your peers that are better at it? See, that's one of the ways I wanted to get good at selling when I first got my second sales job, was I asked to sit next to the guy that was the best.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to listen to the guy.
It's a great way to learn and that kind of stuff.
Can't do that at home.
No.
So all these mental health issues and all of this is correlated to the fact that we're lonelier. And everyone's on their fucking phone. They have no real relationship. So no, it's
which is why when you said to me, should we do the podcast over Zoom? I was, no, Benjamin, I want you.
And I respect it. It's do it in person. Because you're right. There's something about this dynamic that you can't get over Zoom. And so, I agree. Culture is important. You need a culture that encourages risk-taking. Do you know how many cultures don't encourage risk?
Yeah.
The whole definition of being an entrepreneur and capitalist is to take a risk.
Yeah.
But they don't want to take risks. You can't say that, you can't do that, you can't. Why? And then there's no acceptance of failure. They don't own up to it. And then you promote people that are good at selling but have poor management skills. The worst reason to promote someone is because they're good at selling. You keep them there. Keep them selling.
And quite often, particularly recruitment as well, actually, the top billers tend to be the worst at towing the line in terms of, right, have you done this? Have you done that? Or,
all the little KPIs and everyone that's supposed to be doing to measure your behavior. Yeah. The smartest people break all the rules.
Yeah.
How do you become an entrepreneur? I followed the rules. And I played the game by the way I was told to play it now. I said, no.
I took no risks.
No. And I've said this. If you're watching, a lot of people have done this based on it. If you're good at selling, you shouldn't be working for anyone anyway. Go out and set up your own business. You're meant to have your own business if you can sell. You employ people that can't sell to work for you.
Obviously, we talked about KPIs a couple of times anyway. Obviously, I think there's different scenarios where KPIs are good and KPIs are bad, and a lot of that will depend on the company's culture and actually what are they looking at to improve. Who, in your view, should set a sales team's KPIs? Should it be the sales manager? And what would you say are the sort of KPIs things you should be looking at? Because obviously a lot of people, like we said earlier, will just look at volume of calls, amount of time on the calls, amount of meetings.
Oh, pointless.
What should they be looking at?
So it should be tailored between your manager and the salesperson.
So it should be an agreement.
It should be an agreement. It should be a joint venture. It should be enough to push them, but not too much to break them. It should be realistic. And then you've got to ask yourself, whenever we're going to measure something, the question should be, fine, let's measure this. But the bigger question is, what behavior are we wanting to encourage as a result of this measurement? You see, we are creatures of habit. We are creatures of behavior. Our behavior determines our outcomes. So if you're only measuring outcomes, what's the point? I want to measure behavior that will determine outcome. So talk, as you say, talk time, dials, this is all outcome. The outcome of their input was they made 56 dials, they had 6 conversations, and got 1 meeting. Oh, so we can extrapolate that. Okay, so therefore you must now make 56 calls a day. No. What we want to encourage is, I want you calling less people, talking to less people. I want you getting better at getting past gatekeepers. If you get past gatekeepers, you're going to make less calls, but you're going to have more conversations. And I'm interested in the conversation. But I'm not just interested in getting through to someone and hanging out. I need to structure the call so that we know where it's failing. So the behavior is, this is the call, you stick to the structure. Now, it's not a script, it's a structure, because you have flexibility. But you ask the average salesperson, what is the purpose of a prospecting call? No one knows. Do you know that?
Well, I know a lot of people think it's to sell, isn't it? I want to sell to this person, but, to me, it's always been an intro, I guess. Prospecting is, am I talking to the right person, and is there a need for me to try and sell my services at some point. And really, it's can I get in front of this person for me?
Right.
But a lot of people see it as I need to try and sell.
Well, this is it. So purpose is different from outcomes. And everything you've said there is an outcome. There could be a chance to get in front of them. There could be a chance to discover. Those are all outcomes. So the purpose is something more fundamental. What am I trying to do to this human being? What am I trying to do? I'm phoning up a stranger who's sitting at their desk, happy as Larry, hopefully.
Or at home.
And then I phone up. What am I trying to do to this person? And the rule is this, is I'm trying to get them to feel a little bit of emotion about whatever it is that I fix. Because if they don't feel it, they're never going to want to continue talking. So my purpose, therefore, I design my call around the purpose. How do we get people to feel something about what we fix if they can be gotten there? Not everyone can be got there because they don't have the conditions that will enable the feeling. So my job is as if I was selling a cure for COVID. I wouldn't be phoning up and talking to people about how I developed it and how long we've been doing it. And I'd be asking about, do you have a sore throat? Do you have achy joints? I'd be talking about symptoms.
Yeah.
And if they could relate to those symptoms...
Shit, I need this.
Then they're more willing. And now emotion, okay, no, I get what you're saying. And then we can have a chat. So the whole call needs to be structured around getting someone emotional. If you're going in it to get an appointment or to win or to qualify, you're focused on the wrong thing. Therefore, your whole call, the behavior of you on the call will be wrong. So I focus on behavior. How did you do it? When they hung up, why did they hang up? Let's listen to the call. Do you know why? Listen to how you sounded. Would you have hung up if you'd heard? Yeah. So they didn't hang up because what we're doing didn't work. It's you. So now you have a choice. You either keep doing the same or you change. This is a problem with salespeople. They don't want to change. They think all you got to do is show up, throw up, and hope.
Is it because they've been programmed by KPIs? I've been told I need to make this many phone calls and do this.
Oh, it is. Yeah, because it's it's the vanity metrics. It's management. Yeah, and most people think selling is just a numbers game, and it's volume. And to a certain extent, you could say that it is.
Well, like you said earlier, prospecting is, me, isn't it? You know, finding that one person that has those feelings. It is a lot of
hard, exactly. So the more you can do with that, the better. But when you're in front, like I said, would you hire a lawyer? And you ask them, so how come you're so good? Oh, I don't know. I just do a lot of these, and it's a numbers game, and that's why I win trials. I don't think I want to hire you because that doesn't sound like... So the only reason you win trials is because you do a lot... it's a numbers game. It's got nothing to do with my ability as an advocate. It's got nothing to do with my knowledge of the law. It's got nothing to do with my years of experience. No,
anything, it's just luck.
It's just a numbers game. It's numbers. It's like you wouldn't hire a lawyer that spoke like that. But sales professionals, that's what it comes down to. That's a numbers game. I get in front of more people, but it's not.
Obviously, I saw your video actually a few weeks ago when you were talking about this whole sell me this pen in an interview. And again, is part of that that sort of matrix. I liked your take on it. And actually, I agree with your sentiment. Other people won't, which is fine.
So I did it.
What should people be looking for in the salespeople? Is it personality fit? Again, clearly it's not. I've made this many calls for this company, and should they just be focused on figures? Should they be focused on that outcome, which is how much money have they built, rather than
the best salespeople? I know this is going to seem like an anathema. Are the laziest people.
Right, okay.
You see, lazy people find quick ways of getting them to solutions.
Yeah.
Like water. Water always finds a way, right? We've got the problem with the leak. It doesn't matter what you do. Water always figures out a way, right? Be water. So the lazier, ironically, they are. But lazy people doesn't mean they're stupid. Don't get me wrong. Lazy is... a salesman who's good is the one that says, I don't want to travel all the way to Birmingham to meet this guy. I want to know the following things. Whereas the keen, again, let's just get in front of people.
Yeah.
No, I want something. No. Before I even get out of my chair, I want to know the following things because I know from all my years of experience, if they don't have at least these 4 things, this isn't even going to get out of the starter gate. Whereas someone who it's a numbers game, just get in front, they just want volume. No. So the lazier, the better they are. They've got to be challenging. A good salesman doesn't go in trying to sell. I know you're probably not going to buy from me. There are more reasons for you not to give me money than there are for you to give me money. So do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to figure out why we can't work together first. And if none of that applies, then maybe we should keep talking because there are more reasons. And people are scared to do that. Well, don't tell them what to do.
I was going to say a lot of people won't be brave enough to actually sit there in front of, particularly if it's a prospect, and do that.
And you're raised to believe that the man with the gold makes the rules. So you're in front of the prospect. They were the ones.
I've got to impress you.
Yeah, it's like, no, we've built an entire business that fixes problems you may have. So why the fuck would I have to sit here and justify my existence to you? No, I'm here to figure out why we should let you buy this. And if I can't figure that out, you don't get it. And unless you can convince me that you need it, you're not going to get it. Now, if you start... Now, I'm not saying it literally like this. Those watching, not idiots. I'm not saying this. This is your mindset. So you're able to behave differently.
Yeah.
And you're able to change your language. So the words I utilize, I'll be upfront. Whether I can help you, I don't know. Unless I'm convinced by the end of this meeting that we're right, the odds of it happening... See, I'm convinced. Well, you're a fucking salesman. Yeah. I'm the one that needs to be convinced. You're the one potentially with a sales problem.
I think that we find that easier with inbound leads because they're coming to you and then you want to make sure this is a good fit for you and for me. And it's easy to say, I don't want to waste your time.
Yeah.
But when that's a hard thing to deliver, obviously, if you're prospecting. I suppose you're saying that at the point of when you're in front of them. And once you've identified those...
Yes, for those watching, you're not doing this on the prospecting call. Yeah. This is, I see, you're dealing with people that aren't the brightest when you have to explain the bleeding obvious.
Yeah.
I had a guy complain, said my sales have gone down because people say I'm yelling to. I said, what the fuck are you yelling? Well, you yell. Yeah, but those are in videos.
Yeah, that's not real.
It's not real life. It's training. So yeah, no, on the prospecting call, my job is there a good enough reason to get in front of them? I don't want to just get in front of anyone. They have to tick certain criteria. And if they tick that, fine, I'll meet with them. But when I'm in front of them, then it's, well, I accept that I called you, but you invited me in.
Yeah, so there's obviously a reason.
Yeah, unless you're lonely and this is a form of Tinder.
And they invited you around their house to be like,
you said, okay, Benjamin, I'll give you an hour of my time.
Yeah.
And then just because I got there, then I do my job. Well, look, I'm not here because I'm desperate. I phone around because I have to sell, but I can only sell to the right people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No point in me investing time in something that's...
So this meeting is about me finding out about you and whether or not you can buy from me. I'm not here to sell you anything because I can't convince you of anything. You're going to have to figure out for yourself that I can help you. And it's by how I act and behave that people say, gosh, I didn't think I was going to use you when you came in, but I don't know how you've got me to here. I go, well, because... this is what I teach people to do. And all it is a communication skill. And it takes a while to master. And that's why people don't get it, because they try and they fail and they quit too soon, too hard. But no, it's a conversation. It's all selling is a conversation.
See, the example I used earlier of my prospect, actually, but a lot of what we do is sometimes we will go into someone, it might be remotely, it might be online, or it might be at their office, and they've booked a demonstration of our software. People want a demo. And actually, not some of the time, not all the time, it turns into them showing us their software and what they hate about it. And, this does it like this. And we're just, okay. And this comes out, again, if someone's booked a demo online, it's all part of that qualification call of, is this going to be right? Are we a good fit for them? Can we sell to this person ultimately? And then we invest the time. Because actually, we haven't got a huge sales force like some businesses have, that are more sort of a numbers game, big corporate. You know, it's our time's actually quite precious. So we say no to quite a few people that come to our door and say, can we have a demo? And we'll have an initial conversation with them. We don't charge them, but some people I know the guys downstairs would really like to, and it has
even more Taiwan.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes some of the big corporates will just send us like an RFI, like, fill this out, and it's like 30, 40 pages, and you're like, this could take 6-7 hours of a couple of people working together.
RFIs and RFPs are bogus anyway.
Yeah.
They've all locked them out. Never do an RFI, folks.
I want to kind of try and wrap this up. I could talk to you for days. I really could, because I think you're great. I haven't attended one of your courses, but in my defence, you haven't prospected me either, and tried to get me on.
True.
So, obviously, I know a lot of your stuff is about being assertive, pattern interruptions, and like we said earlier, basically growing a pair, pick up the phone and be good at what you do. What if someone says to you, because a lot of stuff we hear and we're prospecting, I'm in a meeting, and like straight away we're like, that's bullshit. Why would you pick up your phone when you're in a meeting? Is that true? Are they in a meeting? Would you pick up your phone if you was in a meeting?
Is it true? I think, like everything, sometimes it will be true. Why people answer? I've had people answer. I've been put through, and they've been waiting for someone else called Benjamin to call. So stuff
Just so happens.
Yeah. So you can get that. I'm in a meeting, or maybe they're waiting on a specific call for some reason, and they're in a meeting with a staff member, so they know they can interrupt it, sort of thing. So I do think sometimes it's true. I say you've got to distinguish between a false objection and a statement of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all my job is to do. Yeah, so if somebody says to me, "Look, no, I can't take this, I'm in the middle of a meeting," I think, no, just challenge. Go, that's fair enough. One last question then. Are you just saying that to get rid of me?
Or do you want me to call you back?
Or do you really want me to call you back?
Mm.
And you'll be amazed at the number of people say, actually, I'm just saying. Fine. Let's just leave it there then.
So call them out. Don't just go, okay, thank you.
Yeah, or you could go back, well, not now that you spoke to me slightly longer. Can I have my 30 seconds? Because we're almost there anyway. Go on then. So it doesn't, just because someone says I'm in a meeting doesn't mean it's instantly over. It's how you deal with it. And the problem with a lot of salespeople is they're not fast enough, not cumulative enough.
Yeah.
They don't free flowing or whatever it is. They're so focused. They've read their gongs 101 ways to deal with an objection. You've got to be realistic, real world, particularly if you're talking to decision makers. And only a decision maker can get another decision maker to make a decision, actually. So it's an important thing. So if you're a ditherer, a procrastinator, and a non-decision maker, you're always going to suck at selling. Because if you can't make a decision, how the hell are you supposed to run a process designed to get someone else to make a decision? You're not. So you've got two choices. You either figure out how to become a decision maker or find another job. See, a lot of people, like you say, fall into sales.
But it's not too late for those people. This is what you're saying around your training.
Maybe it can be learned if you want to. And it depends how hard you want to change. Most people don't want to change.
So where can people go and book on some of your courses?
Well, I'm redoing everything. So I'm getting rid of all my live courses. I used to do live events.
Okay.
They're just becoming cumbersome. So I've got to...
Bear in mind, this will probably go out in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So.
Yeah. So I've got a new platform called Sales Matrix Courses.com. And it's I used to just sell single boot camps, and people bought those and they liked them. And then people say, are you going to do any more stuff? Can you do more stuff? Can you do more stuff? So what I decided to do now is I'm putting everything on a platform and it'll be accessible. But rather than you pay a one-off fee and just view your video, it's going to be a monthly subscription. And I'm going to add new stuff to it every month as well, based on things you raise, because so you can have all the boot camps. Everything I've done is all going to be there. It's cheaper than buying them individually, but the goal is to hopefully you'll stay on for 2 or 3 months. As more content's added, then there's going to be a community where you can engage with other users, and then they'll throw up questions, and then they'll come to me with their can you do something on this? So the whole thing's designed to be like an organic living thing. So that's salesmatrixcourses.com. That launches properly in April.
Cool.
Done a dry launch. Soft launch. So people have subscribed, but not everything's there. It's just to get their feedback on what they like, what they don't like. So far, the feedback's all been positive, with a few people saying this could do this. So, but next month it'll have over 100 hours of content.
Okay,
and then
a lot to digest.
It's a lot to digest. And so, like I say, you can come in and out. You can buy monthly, leave after a month, come back. But it's a permanent resource. I believe it'll do really well based on how my bootcamp sales went.
Yeah.
And these are all being refilmed. They're longer than the originals. I've added new stuff. So, yeah. So that's where you can get me on LinkedIn.
Great. We'll drop a link to stuff in the description as well.
Buy my stuff.
Benjamin, thanks so much for coming on. Guys, that's been another episode of The Corner. Join us next time. We've got some more interesting guests. And thanks to Benjamin for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.